All right, Talk Ticker listeners, today we're going deep on Zoom's Q3 2025 earnings call. And I gotta say, there's way more to this than just video calls.
You got that right. You know, everyone remembers how Zoom basically became a verb back during the pandemic, but this company is clearly looking way beyond that now. And actually, one of the first things that jumps out from this earnings call is the name change. They actually dropped video. It's just Zoom Communications Inc. now.
Yeah, that's a pretty small change when you think about it, but
Yeah.
kind of says a lot about where they want to go, huh?
Oh, absolutely. It's a total strategic shift. They're not just a video conferencing tool anymore. They're aiming to be a full-blown AI-powered work platform.
Okay, so let's dig into this whole AI thing a little bit. We saw their AI companion had a 59% jump in monthly active users. That's a big jump.
Oh.
But they're not charging extra for the basic features, which honestly seems a little counterintuitive, especially with all the competition out there.
Yeah, it's a bold move. You could even say risky. Giving away AI features for free could definitely hit their short-term profits. But they seem pretty confident that this is going to pull in users. And that'll lead to making money through those customized AI add-ons and vertical-specific solutions later on. Think about things like custom AI avatars or AI coaching that's specifically made for certain industries.
So it's a long game then, betting that these features are going to be so good that people stick around and that's how they'll make money.
Exactly. It's about the whole platform, not just individual features. Now let's switch gears for a second and look at another interesting thing from this quarter. Zoom's contact center business. They landed their biggest deal ever. Spain's revenue service, Agencia Tributaria, signed up for over 20,000 seats.
Wow, that's a huge win. It shows they can compete with the big guys in the contact center space.
Totally. And it's not just about the size of the deal either. It really shows how well their channel partner strategy is working. Their top 4 contact center deals this quarter all came through channel partners, so it's clear they're really good at using those relationships to get into new markets.
Speaking of new markets, let's talk about WorkVivo, their employee engagement platform. Remember how Meta decided to shut down their workplace product?
Oh yeah, and that's a potential goldmine for Zoom. They became the exclusive migration partner. So all those companies using Meta's workplace are now being pointed towards WorkVivo. Plus, Zoom scored 3 WorkVivo deals worth over $1 million in annual recurring revenue each this quarter.
And for anyone who doesn't know that ARR basically means the yearly value of their contracts, it's a big deal for businesses like Zoom that rely on subscriptions. So even though the market's been tough, Zoom's still finding ways to grow. Now, what about the overall numbers? How do they actually do?
Well, they beat revenue expectations. They grew 4% year over year, which honestly isn't bad considering how the economy's doing. Enterprise revenue was the real star, though, up 6%, and now it makes up 59% of their total revenue.
That's pretty impressive. Looks like they're handling things well. Anything else in the financials that jumped out at you?
You know what really caught my eye was the online churn rate. It hit a record low of 2.7%. That shows their customers are really loyal, which is super important when everyone's watching their spending. And another good sign was the 5% growth in deferred revenue because of those longer billing terms. It means customers are sticking with Zoom for the long haul, which is great for their future stability and growth.
Okay, so we covered the name change, the AI push the contact center win, and the WorkVivo boost. What about the future? Did they give any hints about what's coming next year?
Well, their new CFO, Michelle Chang, she really emphasized their focus on accelerating that top-line growth. They're not giving specific numbers for fiscal year 2026 just yet, but they did say that Q4's growth rate could be a decent indicator.
Interesting. So we might see even more growth, maybe even faster growth. That's definitely something to keep an eye on. And it sounds like they'll really start pushing that AI monetization strategy in the second half of the year. Lots of interesting stuff happening.
Absolutely. Now, before we get to our This Is Not Financial Advice segment, I wanted to get your take on something. Remember how Zoom's betting big on frontline workers with their Zoom Workplace launch?
Yeah, it's supposed to launch in the first half of 2025, right?
Yeah.
They were talking about how they're going to tailor it for industries like retail, healthcare, and manufacturing with stuff like mobile-centric features, AI-powered shift summaries, and streamlined communication. It's a huge market that they haven't really tapped into yet. But honestly, I'm a little skeptical about how quickly they can really make a dent in those new sectors.
I get that. It's a crowded market, and those industries all have their own unique needs and challenges. It'll be interesting to see how Zoom adapts their platform and their strategy to really meet those needs.
For sure. Okay, so now for the fun part. The This Is Not Financial Advice segment. What wild but plausible trade idea do you have for our listeners today?
All right, here's a thought. What if Zoom partners with a major delivery platform, like DoorDash or Instacart?
That's an interesting angle. But how would that actually work?
Think about it. There are millions of drivers and shoppers using these platforms for their work every day. Imagine if Zoom was built into their daily operations.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. So drivers could use Zoom for stuff like scheduling, communicating with dispatch, or even resolving customer issues in real time using video.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just the drivers. Imagine shoppers using Zoom for training on new products, or for live support if they run into a problem while they're fulfilling an order.
And don't forget about the data. Zoom could provide valuable insights into worker efficiency, customer interactions.
Yeah.
They can even identify areas for improvement within the delivery process.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. The delivery platforms get a powerful tool to manage their workforce and make things run better. And Zoom gets a massive new user base and strengthens their position as the go-to work platform.
That's actually a really compelling idea. Obviously, this is all hypothetical,
Hmm?
but it really shows how Zoom could expand beyond its current market and become a platform everyone uses for work.
Exactly. And that's what makes this earnings call so fascinating. Zoom is making it clear that they're not just a video conferencing company anymore. They're building a complete work platform with AI at its core. And they're trying to meet the needs of a workforce that's constantly changing.
So the big takeaway for our Talk Tickers listeners.
Zoom is evolving.
Yeah.
They're not sitting still. They're going after new markets, embracing innovation. And they're using their strengths to navigate a world that's always changing.
It's a bold strategy, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out. But one thing's for sure, Zoom is a company to watch, and their journey is just getting started. It's really exciting to see what Zoom's doing, and thinking about how they're pushing into the contact center space, and how they want to work with frontline workers. It makes me wonder if they might try to combine those two things in some new ways.
That's a really interesting idea. What are you thinking?
Okay, so imagine contact center agents who aren't just stuck in call centers anymore. What if they had mobile tools powered by Zoom that let them give real-time on-location support?
Oh, I see what you're getting at. So instead of just talking someone through a problem over the phone, agents could actually go to the customer's location and help them directly using Zoom.
Exactly. Think of the possibilities. Like in healthcare, a virtual nurse could guide a patient through at-home care. Or in tech support, an agent could use augmented reality with Zoom to help troubleshoot a customer's problem right there in person.
Yeah, that would really blur the lines between the virtual and physical worlds. And it would give more power to both customers and workers.
It would totally change the game.
Yeah.
And knowing how innovative Zoom is, I wouldn't be surprised if they're already thinking about this kind of stuff.
I agree. They've always been good at adapting and pushing the limits. So to all our listeners out there, keep an eye on Zoom. They're not just changing the game, they're creating a whole new playing field.
And that wraps up our deep dive into Zoom's Q3 2025 earnings call, brought to you by Talk Tickers. As always, remember, this is not financial advice, but hopefully it's given you something to think about, and maybe even sparked some ideas of your own.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
See you on the next call.